perfect. So today we're talking about finding purpose. This is our second Saturday of every month. So put it on your calendar. Every month we have this, and you are invited as part of the wellness journey. Now we also have my Remarkable Wellness channel that I'll talk to you about later. Hopefully you'll come on to that. But nonetheless, this is always available to you from just being a part of this community. So today we're talking about finding purpose and living in that purpose. And so what does it mean to, first of all, do you feel like you know your purpose? Without even telling me what it is, but do you have a purpose and feel like you know what it is?
I mean,
Mostly yes.
is it your purpose that for you in your life, or your purpose for the world? Because I feel like they're kind of different.
Are they different? Okay, well, that's a good question. We're going to come back to that. I want the highest level of purpose that encompasses everything.
Okay.
Okay. But if you can't, so if you're not sure, or you don't want to, when you think about what is my purpose, if I am a full person, everything is holistic. What's in the one is in the whole. What's in the whole is in the one. So at the highest level, what is my purpose? And then that's where we get pulled to and fro, because we have split minds, or, as the Bible says, like, you can't serve two masters. And so it starts to be like, well, my purpose at home for my family is one thing. I want them protected. Therefore, I'm gonna vote a certain way out there. But, in my home, I believe differently because I want to take care of them, but I don't want anyone out there to have what I have. There's a lot of that going. That's why we're crazy. So really, when we get into that what's the single point, the most primary point, and then everything should flow from that, really, if you're being true. So that's what I mean by like purpose. That's when it gets sort of, we're not living like shallow and just skipping along the top of the water where we're feeling it. So, okay, so I feel like I know what my purpose is. I know what my purpose is. But sometimes I doubt it. And so I want us to talk about that too. Like, okay, everyone's shaking their head. Yeah, like we all doubt it. So then the key to staying conscious and aware is coming back to, what is my purpose again? Why am I upset? Oh, I'm trying to do something that's outside of my purpose. So, okay, so I wrote some notes because I know I forget stuff. What does it, I just said what it meant for me, what I call the definition of purpose is, but it's sort of, there's so many ways. So do you guys have a definition of like what it means to you to have purpose? What does purpose feel like? Or what does purpose mean to you?
Well, what I can say first is purpose feels like a reason to get up and get out of bed in the morning. Purpose feels like something that drives direction and motivation and action. What my definition of purpose is, a reason for being.
I love it.
Yeah, I would say the same. It's also I think a level of confidence in knowing that you're at where you're supposed to be at, or doing what you're supposed to be doing. I feel like a lot of people are waking up, going to jobs, doing things on the day to day, but when they go to bed at night, they're like, was I at where I was supposed to be at? Did I do what I was supposed to do, what I was meant to do today? So that feeling like you're exactly where you're supposed to be doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, that's a real sense of purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think what we've sort of hit on both of the edges of what I wanted to talk about, which is perfect, as always. The sense of purpose, like this singularity, the sense of purpose that you sort of is the guiding star, right? That reason to get out of bed, that for you. And then There's the things that we do to feel that we're hitting that goal. And Evan, that's sort of what you were saying, like, have you done what you needed to do in the day? Have you whatever? And so those two poles, when I said finding your purpose, which is that guiding light, and living in your purpose, that's what you're talking. That's what we're, it's like, are you doing are you living in your purpose? A lot of times people, though, sort of want to judge how they're living and then back into their purpose. Or else they don't know what their purpose is, because they're like, man, I got this job. I don't like my job. I don't like my spouse. I don't like my weight. I don't like, it's like, oh gosh, I don't like anything. I don't like these things. I must not be in my purpose. Or I do like these things, therefore I am in my purpose. Both could be true and both could be false. Your purpose doesn't change based on your life situation. That's the key. It doesn't change if you're the, this or that or the other. And I know that may sound funny, but so that's what I just want us to explore with this little exercise. Okay? And I hope it'll come home right here. I just think this is so fun and beautiful. And you're the first group I get to do it with. I've talked about it and done it sort of, but now we're going to do it. I want you to introduce yourself without saying your name, your geography, your job, your education, your political affiliation, your gender, your relationship to anyone else in the world, mother, sister, cousin, brother, none of that. Introduce who you are. Introduce yourself to us without all of those, excluding those areas. And I can go first. And I'm spitball this because I've done it before and I'm different all the time. But essentially, I am spirit. I am a spiritual, loving, caring being that is funny and animated and loving and caring, direct, but very much a part of the whole, of a whole. And I am aware, I am conscious of this. This is who I am. I am remarkable.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. It's a mind trick, an affirmation. So, please, whoever would like to go next.
I'll take a stab. I am an incarnated spiritual being with the soul of an artist who is committed to creating and experiencing beauty and magic all around her.
I love that.
Thank you.
I feel like I know it. I'm just trying to
Spit
put
it
it
out.
into words.
We're all friends.
I am a thinker who tries to bring love, laughter, and truth with him wherever he goes.
Okay. I love that. So really, that is it. The what is my purpose goes with who am I, right? That's the same answer, really. Who am I? Once you exclude all of the worldly, materialistic body, things, it sort of goes with, and the miracle of God is it's also your purpose. So when people are out there, help other people with the same question or exercise. So many people, they come to a place and say, I don't know what my purpose is. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And they're thinking about like, oh, I'm supposed to be the CFO or the manager of this, or make a certain amount of money, or I should have done this by this time. I should have had kids, or I am a this or that. And they judge like, I don't know what my purpose is because I haven't reached this thing that I said I wanted to do. But what you do has nothing to do with well, it does have something to do with your purpose, but it does not drive your purpose. You are what you are, whether you know it or not. So our whole goal of our life is to emerge, and our purpose is to be who we are, right? To emerge and let these qualities that we know, that we expressed, we know innately, like we're creating magic and we're thinkers and we're spirits. That's who we are. So whenever there's a problem or something that's going on that's taking you, when you're like, why am I disappointed? And I actually did a little talk to myself this morning on that. So I've been in the spirit. Why am I disappointed? Or why aren't things going the way I want them to go right now? I've done all the work. I've read all the books. I put my best foot forward. What are they not seeing in me, or what are they seeing? And it's a part of this. It's like, okay, every time that happens, you got to get back into your purpose. Well, my purpose, who am I? Okay, I'm still a light unto the world. I'm still humorous and bringing light and joy. So that's who I am. So whether I get the job or whether, these things happen, I shouldn't be disappointed. I could be, I could wish for a different outcome, but I shouldn't, my countenance, my soul, I shouldn't be this angst and bone crushing. I shouldn't have all that. Like that's when I'm unaware, right? But as soon as I can bring myself back to my purpose and sit in it, all is well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's helpful for us and for our friends and family, just in general conversation, because you will hear the question if you haven't heard it already. If you haven't even asked yourself that question before, an easy way is introduce yourself without any of these other things, and that's who you are. And we are here as an expression of God, and so we're here meant to be who we are. But sometimes we're trying to be who the other person wants us to be, or when it's taking us out of our game. So when you think about what do I want, that's an important thing. So I wanted to talk about, just to follow that up, and then we can just talk. One of the 4 agreements is don't take it personally. And that's an important one. And before, I've read that book several times. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. But 4 agreements. One is don't take it personally. And I was like, okay, don't take it personally. I get what that means. Okay, don't take it personally. Back off. I'm not going to take it personally. But not the deeper context of it. And when it hit me this morning, like when I'm thinking about purpose. When something happens outside of me, when people feel lost or don't know their purpose, it's because they're letting other things, looking at that like what's primary, instead of looking at who they are. So I'm taking it personally. I didn't get that job. What's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with them? Or what didn't I communicate to them? Because I know I'm perfect for the role, but I'm making myself feel bad because I wasn't chosen by someone else. And when you come back to your purpose, or to another way that's helpful, is don't take it personally. Because I don't need to take it personally that I didn't get that job, because that's secondary. Because what's primary, them not choosing me, I should not have allowed to impact how I comport myself, because I have my purpose, their opinion. So don't take it personally, because if you take it personally, they're taking you away from your purpose. My purpose is over here and they're taking me over there. So not taking it personally is detachment, and it allows you to be free to stay and be who and where you are in your purpose.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I actually was watching a podcast yesterday, the day before, and it was a Charlamagne the God's podcast, but he was talking about the 4 agreements, and he brought up that specific one. Don't take it
It was
personally. Charlamagne the God.
I don't know who that is.
It's from the Breakfast Club, the radio station.
From the Breakfast Club. You can remind me later. Go ahead.
Charlamagne the God.
Charlamagne the God.
Yeah, from the Breakfast Club, the radio show, the bald guy.
I'm sure if you Google him, when you see his picture,
Yeah,
you'll know
you definitely
exactly who
see the
he is.
interview. You know, when Birdman walked out, like, is we done or is we finished and all that. Like, there's been a lot of moments on the Breakfast Club. I don't know how you've never heard of this, but okay.
Okay.
So he has a podcast I listen to, and he was talking about the 4 agreements, and you know, specifically the one, don't take it personally. And he said this thing. He said, you know, hurt people hurt people. So when you take it personally, you are inviting the same energy in that caused them to hurt you in the first place. Yeah.
That's it. That's it right there. And so many people here don't take it personally, and they're like, okay, and they just try to, you know, straight arm it back. But if you just go a little deeper in the understanding, oh, I'm not taking it personally because I'm not going to take on their hurt, and I'm not going to let them take me out of my game. That's why I don't take it personally. I don't just not take it personally because someone told me to. You can't even do it just because someone. So you got to get to the meat of the matter, and that's exactly right. Their energy. That's why we're all one and connected in the energy, so we can help modulate in our intention and in our closeness and what we give and receive that energy, and not let that negative energy in, and definitely not put it out. So that's perfect. So have you guys read the 4 agreements?
I did a long time ago, and I need to read it again.
Evan, have you read it?
The actual book, no, but I've read like what they are and a little bit about them like online before.
Oh yeah.
Really
Well, I'd encourage you both to read it again, and read it from cover to cover. It's a very short and small book, and it's a favorite, and it's one that I probably read every few years, or I could be on a 2-hour car ride. You know, like it's like a weekend, or it's a really good and simple book, very well applicable. But we forget, right? You know, we forget what are the 4 agreements, and then one will come up as needed, which is how God works, right? But sometimes it's good to put them all back together again, because then it raises you more fully at one time.
I always thought it was interesting. I can't remember what all the agreements are right off the top of my head right now, but I do remember when reading them, I was like, oh man, I remember when I learned this lesson. I don't know if I would have been able to put it to words the way that, you know, obviously he does, but I remember learning this, like, I remember when I figured out you can't take things personally. And I remember how that, once you figure that out, how that kind of changes the way you start looking at things. And, you know, I remember just being like, oh man, I remember I remember picking this one up, and you just not, but when you're aware of it, just put to words, makes it more powerful.
Yeah. It's like, it's liberating. When you actually do it, like, oh, I was letting them get on my nerve for no reason. I can actually choose not to take this personally.
That's why they call me the Zen Master.
The Zen Master, right? Exactly. So the last sort of point I had jotted down to think about and to talk about was, I love these 2 questions all the time, because when we find ourselves feeling out of sort, or like, be like, well, what is my I thought that was my purpose, and why am I still feeling somewhat dissatisfied? If I know my purpose, I'm living in it daily, trying to do things and spread love and light. Why am I still, what is it that I want? The things that are, you know, and it came back to sort of material things, like, you know, maybe wanting to feel more secure, more, you know, so still just doing introspection, and we all have whatever those things are, but to just be sort of open with them. And I think that's what confession is supposed to, you know, ignite in people. That's the purpose, the energy behind it. So you can explore it and put it out, like, you know, I'm having some fear about something, but fear is, again, it's taking you out of your purpose. It's like, just trust in your purpose, and then don't be fearful about security, because you're secure in this moment. There's nothing wrong. You have a roof over your head and food, and your health. I mean, in this very moment, everything is okay. Anything else I'm worried about is in the future, or it's in the past. And so I'm not living in my purpose if I'm worried about those things, because those are secondary, not primary. So the magic is, it always comes back to what's primary. So the two questions are to help also. So we got the don't take it personally is to help. And then on another side, there's some questions that is, what if money was not an issue? Because a lot of times we attach security with money. And in this sense, that's what I was talking about. Because like I said, I got a roof, or I got a whatever, but my bank account doesn't let me do some of the things I want to do. And maybe I want to do too much, right? Like the lights are on too. So, I mean, it's all relative. But what if money was not an issue? And what if you had no past? What does that look like? Just think about it for a second. Like, let that, those go. Oh, go ahead, Mom.
I'm gonna think about it.
Okay.
But while you were talking, it made me aware of how much worry about money specifically is an inhibitor, because I constantly tell myself everything is okay right now. You have food, you can feed your cats, you've got a roof over your head, electricity's on. And I'm worried because the bank account's getting smaller and I don't know where the income's coming from. And this has been a lifelong battle. And I am really working, I keep working on bringing myself back to the moment.
Yeah.
But I keep there's a part of me that keeps, you need income. You need to handle that issue right there. And then you will be okay. And then there's another part of me that is just like, it's not about the money, because I've worked with people who have made millions of dollars and they're in worry and have millions of dollars in the bank account, and they're in worry and fear about losing it all. Yeah. So I know it's the truth is it's either mindset or finding comfort. And what you just brought to the surface was, it's staying in the moment, because I kept on saying to myself over the years, how do I get to the point where I don't worry about it, whether I have a lot or have a little? Because I've seen people with a lot, and I've been in instances where I've had a lot, and I've been worried then as well. And what you said was, it really is, you've got to stay in the present, ultimately, is what it is. And it's a lifelong thing that I'm working on, getting out of the past and the future and into the present.
Yes.
So that all came up in me. So now, what was the question again? If money wasn't an issue.
Yeah, if money was not an issue, and if you had no past,
then
what would you do? Who would you be?
I feel like the money thing is one thing, but I feel like it's almost impossible to answer the question without a past. Who would you be? Because that kind of informs who you are. Those experiences shape you in the many ways. So it's like, how do you picture yourself without the experiences that made you?
Exactly. This is the point. This is good, Evan. I'm glad we're having this conversation today. You're still staying in the secondary, though, when you're doing that, because you're letting things that happen to you and experiences help to shape you, which isn't bad. I'm just saying your purpose is primary, and it's unaffected by the things that happen to you. So instead of trying to start with what happened to you and let it inform who you think you are today, who do you think you are without considering that? You don't have to go into what happened to me, whatever. I mean, it's like it's going in reverse order.
But I feel like that makes it sound like it's almost a bad thing. I feel like good or bad things.
It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's out of order which means you're not going to get to your answer. You're not going to stay in the higher place you want to be at. You're always going to be down here. You're trying to get to the higher place of that singularity of purpose to keep you. That's where your alignment with the will of God is. That's what's primary. What's secondary is what the world has conditioned us to do, whatever. So that's what we're trying to break, right? That's what meditation does. That's what's being conscious and aware of the present moment, is to like get past the conditioning of the world into that uniform sort of consciousness of spirit. And that is irrespective of, so but it's not bad. That's normal. That's what we do. We go into our experience and then we come back up into our wisdom, higher self, and that's that alignment. That's remarkable wellness, to align it. But it's not this causes this. We have the cause and effect backwards when we're trying to, it's more efficacious to look at the cause and effect in the right order. And everything ebbs and flows is true. And that's why I just want to be clear to say it's not wrong. But if you're trying to get to the highest level of your best self at your purpose point, it's a longer route to take to try to triangulate what the world has done to you and then get to your purpose. And it may never be right because the world is got its own problems. You want to be in direct connection with God and spirit, and that's where your purpose is. And then you come out, and then it's the ping pong between the world and your higher self all the time. That's one way to explain it.
Well, yeah, but when I said bad, I mean, like, I don't want to limit experience to only what the world has done to you. You know, it's like you could go out and, you know, you could see when Katrina happened on TV, and that's struck you in such a way, just seeing all that happen, and that, you know, then you realize you want to help people, and that, you know, over the years, all these different little experiences confirmed this purpose that you're trying to find, you know, and that might be helping people joining, you know, it's like, so that's why I say I don't want to say it's all bad or what the world has done to you, but, you know, there's so many ways to experience the world that, you know.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is your experience of the world, I'm going to say this, try to say it in a different way, doesn't impact your purpose. You're still connecting them. It may be how your purpose shows up in these different ways. You may decide, oh, I'm a loving, kind person, but my job, or if I decide to go volunteer and help people or have 10 babies, it's still an offshoot of my purpose, of who I am. It's not those things that creates who I am. It's all, does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, to an extent.
Okay. All right. Well,
I just want to, for myself, say, when you pose those 2 points of reference in relationship to the question, the first thing that came to my mind was who I said I was. And what I said about myself was, I have the soul of an artist. And as that, I would be, if I didn't have to worry about my past and didn't have to worry about, you know, money, I would be making art, you know, just however I wanted to, as much as I wanted to. And I would be buying art and supporting artists and keeping the tradition of the arts thriving and moving forward and alive. And I think, oh, that's wonderful, but you need money to do that. That's where the world comes right back in, because I'm like, I can't support artists without being able to purchase their art. That is what working artists need.
That is beautiful. And that is, this is just the way the conversation always goes. This is like the conversation I had with myself this morning. So same thing. We do it all the time. This is what Evan was doing, you're doing, I was doing this morning. You come back to the secondary. You can't seem to stay with the primary.
You're right. That's the same thing with me. And like, I stay in the present moment. You have everything you need, right? Yeah. Everything you need right now. Yeah.
Right. If your purpose And I love, so we're going to use your example because I was going to figure out one for me to use too. If your purpose is a soul of an artist to be in and of the art, then go boldly in that direction. And only what you do now matters. So if you purchase one ticket to a show or create one new landscape or just go walk around Hobby Lobby, in that moment, you are expressing the soul. You're doing the things of the soul of this soul of, and as you continue to do those one by one by one, the end result creates itself. But you're living in your purpose, so that joy and happiness, it's the journey that is the purposeful piece. We keep wanting to get to the secondary. What does it produce? How did I do? What's my grade? What's my thing? And so it never fails. And so that's why this is a practice. How do you keep coming back to what's primary? It's like, oh yeah, but I did all that and I still didn't get the job. It's like, I'm having a circular conversation. It's not about the job. It's about continue to look for the job, but be present right now. And if you really wanted security, then enjoy the security you have. You can't even enjoy the security you have because you're worried about you're going to get a job one day. I promise you. Like Spirit was like, it is promised. You can't not get one. It just may not be what you were thinking or what you envisioned up front, but you are employable, So it's like your work. Don't be present in keep what's primary. What is your purpose? Helping people. Do not cancel that next second Saturday. Do not worry about the other things and get yourself out of your game. Stay in your purpose. And it's like, okay. How am I going to let my light shine when I'm depressed? You can't do both. You can't. It doesn't even work together. Oh, because I'm not staying in what's primary. I'm letting the world make me feel bad. Well, they can't make me feel bad. It's like that energy you're talking about. I'm taking in or giving the same energy it's putting out. And that's my problem. That's so I cannot. Now we come full circle. I kind of can't take it personally. Isn't it a circle? Like it keeps going, it ebbs and flows, and you forget, or you start to be like, well, why didn't I? It's like, okay, well, who am I? Okay, well, I'm a thinker. Let me keep thinking about how to look at this a different way, or, I'm an artist. Let me just do something artistic. I don't have to solve a problem or create the next Van Gogh. I just got to be an artist. I just got to create. That's all you got to do is create, So all I got to do is help people. That's all I got to do. What if I play this life out and just try to do that every day and see where the world takes me? And then let's see if it's going to make me some money, or let's see if, whatever. But as long as I stay in my purpose, then I can just see what happens, because I'm in my purpose. That's the whole point.
I got that. I received that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm worried about where's the money? And it's just like, as in you use what an artist, that's what artists do. We use what we have, Yeah.
Yeah. Like, let me figure out what's creative. How can I use these old socks and make something new? Like I got some socks and some salt and some glue, a glue gun.
That's right.
It's about to be on tonight. I had a glass of wine and some creative space. The moon is out. So yeah, creativity. I love creativity. I mean, as they say, things of the earth are competitive and things of heaven are creative.
Love that.
Yeah, if you think about it, everything we do is how much we're going to make. Well, we got to win this, get chosen for the job. It's all at some level, it's like ego, competitiveness. That's why words like communal, socialism, progressiveness, things where you share and you create, you figure out ways, can be so divisive. Like people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, what are my metrics? What does it take for me to succeed? As opposed to already feeling successful as a person. What do you need for me to help you succeed? Whoa. That's a whole nother way of looking at things. I'm already successful. What do you need? How can I help you? So this organization, company, community, society can be successful. So we turn it around and take it in. So that is sort of the perspective and some questions and prompts that I was thinking about for really sort of staying in your purpose and living your purpose. The last point I want to make is that what we're talking about is staying, because you'll get out of it, but always coming back to being present and actually living in it. Because what keeps people from their purpose is that they're more worried about what they're living in. The details, the metrics, the job, they're important, but they're secondary. And it keeps us from being our full, beautiful self. We get afraid. I don't want to let people see how friendly I am, or if I try to help someone, they might think I'm corny or unqualified, or any crazy thing. So let me just go do these things that's safe, but it's not really who I am.
Very powerful. I got that. And there's a part of my mind that's just like, but, and I can see the part of me that totally is aligned with exactly what you're saying. And the part of me that's like, but.
I know.
So it's good actually that I can see these parts of me now, and just continue the work of coming back to center, which is for me what you're talking about. Centering I thought just you're saying I am successful and having that be the place of operation as to the metrics. Well, you didn't get the job and blah, 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 that kind of thing. It's great. It's a great place for me to start my day from. I am already successbul.
Already.
And then get out of bed.
Yeah. I'm telling you. And that's really what the conversation I have with myself today too, is because we always, and starting the day is the best place, right? Always got to come back to it. And it's hard. So just be, and Evan, be open to what I'm trying to say. Just let it machinate in the back of your head, because I know it is. I've been trying for years. No, okay, I'm not saying you're not open, but I'm saying keep it open. So it's sort of because I feel like there's going to be these aha moments that'll be like, oh, just like when you hear something and it resonates in a different way, like the guy who was talking about don't take it personally, like, oh, I got that in a different way. I just think you might get it in a different way also, because it's taken me years, and like I said, I still had a fight with myself this morning. But every time, it's the nature of disappointment. I was disappointed yesterday and was like, why am I disappointed? Yeah, this is so silly. I have to keep coming back to this place. And I was so perfect to really sit in all morning in this week in this conversation. Well, what's my purpose? I don't need to be disappointed. I'm living in my purpose. So anything else is superfluous. Really. It is important. I got to pay the rent. But it's not primary. So anyway. I love this stuff. So any comments or questions or anything, I don't know, anything in our last few minutes?
I think the one thing that's come up for me about not taking things personally is that sometimes they look personal, especially when we get collective reinforcement. For instance, if we see something happening to a person of color, and it's happened to several people of color, then it looks personal in the real world. And how do I focus on getting out of that mindset and into a more spiritual mindset? Because if I stay in that mindset, then we got a line of division, this is what happens to Black people and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's something I struggle with.
And that's universal too. It's so amazing because we all have really the same problems. We're the same issues. They're not even really problems. But that's the thing. Like, how am I going to not feel an injustice?
Exactly.
I'm not stoic. I've got a heart. Like, how are you telling me like not to feel this? And it's the same practice. It's not that you're heartless. It's that everything works together as a whole. This is part of that is when people think you're separate than the problem. We are all we are all the problem and the solution. It's a collective mentality. So the way we participate and make the world a better place is to live in our purpose and be better within this collective. And we can't help make ripple effects that help change the world. It doesn't mean that each individual bad things will happen, because we're all a conglomeration of everything. We're intertwined. And so that's it. So you see that and say, well, this is how the world is. This is the energy that's going on now. I lament it. Jesus wept. I feel it. Now, what can I do? How can I show up and play in it? And I raise my vibration so that I can help raise the vibration of the world and make this. That's the best thing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just sit in it and get angry over it and stew over it and go buy a gun and shoot up a school, that's where people can't even get control of their own emotions and their own purpose, their own power in a spiritual way. They give it up to the material and say, they can't use the words. There's verbal abuse, physical abuse, depression, it just all falls down. So it's like, that's the separation. You got to detach. Yes, it does hurt. Yes, that confession part. I am a part of this community. That's probably why it hurts. So, but I'm a part of the problem. I'm a part of the solution as well. Even though I may not be the one who hit the person or pulled the whatever, I may be a part of it because I've been a victim of it so long. I still can't figure, we're all intertwined. So that's the detachment, and it is okay. You have to give yourself permission to be okay, to say, I am a part of a whole, but I can't take on every issue, turn off the current events. Give value in sitting and holding vigil, prayer, meditation for the person in the family who was harmed, and for the person in the family who did the harm, so that they know better in the future. That's a lot of good energy right there. That's a lot of work being done. So it's like, I'm going to detach. I can't take it anymore. God, I can't take it. I give it to you. I'm going to live in my purpose, and I'm going to help the world with my art, with my magic, with my spirit, with my mind. And if I want to take it on this way, I'm going to take it on with love. I'm going to open up a room. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to go march. I'm going to, or if I decide not to, I'm just saying that's okay too, because you have other spiritual and quiet ways to do it. The biggest thing is just to be okay. It's just to sit in the understanding and knowing of it, and like, I am okay in my purpose. Now, how are all these things affecting and playing out around me? Let me use my purpose as my shield, as my alignment, my will with God, to go look at these things. There's a quote I've been saying that's like from Rumi: how I look at things is more important than what I see.
Rumi never said anything that wasn't.
I know. I got the essentials of Rumi on my table. I got to
wow.
Really back up off it because it's so deep, man.
So it's really interesting, the two pieces to this being okay, but also your purpose. It kind of reminds me when I was younger. Two things that I realized. So one, I remember going to, you remember Craig, Dad's friend?
Yeah.
So he had a bar mitzvah for both of his sons when they turned 13. I remember going to the first one. I think they're both at Papados down in Westchester. So I remember going to the first one, and he wanted all the guys to go around and say something and all this kind of stuff. So he got to me, and I remember telling the son, I was like, listen, you're starting to figure out who you are, what it is in this world that you want. Think about the type of man you want to be. Is that honest? Is that virtuous? Is that the protector, whatever that is? Think about the man you want to be. Start working towards it now. You're not going to be that now, but start working towards it now. Start doing the things you got to do to become that man that you envision you want to be. And then the second thing is, I don't know when I really realized this. I think it's probably around the time of the accident, but just being wary of negative emotions. Like, I like to, if I'm feeling good, I like to be in that moment. I don't like to pull out my phone. I don't like to and take pictures of nothing. I don't like to be extra with it. I just like to be whatever that good feeling good moment is. I like to be in it. If I'm having a bad moment, I gotta take a second. Like even I'm like feeling a little disappointed by this, but why? Why am I disappointed by this? What does this change? Why what will this do for me? Will I be all right next week? Will I still be? Am I still going to be living? If I'm sad or if I'm mad, I'm like, why am I so mad about this? Like, was something done to me, or was something done that I didn't like? There's a difference. Do I have a reason to be mad at someone, or am I mad because something happened? Those, and really getting into those. Feelings, and when you can dissect them and you're aware of exactly what it is, and you can bring even a level of nuance to your emotions, I guess, because you're like, it's not really everything about this that's got me so mad. It's just this one piece, this one thing that this person said that they kind of said it the wrong way, but did they really mean it that way? You really got to think about these things that whenever you have those negative emotions, those fear, sadness, anger, depression, those emotions brought out of fear, you got to sit for a second and really be like, why do I feel this way? Do I really,
You are wise beyond your years. You're just one. And so this is, yeah, that's very, very good. Exactly. And so what's interesting, what you just described is maybe you were already 2 steps ahead of me. So you start from your purpose anyway. So you're looking at these things in a certain way, but your conversation will start about these things instead of your purpose because you're already so grounded in your purpose. And when you say stuff like that, it's clear. You're like, I'm just like coming back all the time. I'm sitting in my goodness. You're trying to do the things we talk about. We're trying to do more often. So that's exactly great advice. And I know you did that some years ago. So that's beautiful. I want to read this. It made me think of something I did want to read and I forgot, but it's spot on to what you were saying and to everything that we've talked about. And it's in Patreon. So I'm still encouraging you to join the platform because I put a lot of posts throughout the week and we have happy hours on Friday and we do a lot of different things. But I just am constantly putting different things that are important, that seem important to me, at least at the time, and I think are helpful to the world. And I sent this out, this went out last week, and I think it's great to end this way. It's titled, Where Are You Going? And I was going on a run one morning, and that's the view. There's a sunrise back there. There was a little glimpse of it, but it was crazy. So anyway, do you have it all planned out? I'm headed east. On this early morning run, Spirit told me to turn left instead of right. It never occurred to me to run into the sunrise. It was a beautiful morning, and I had to go into the middle of the street to get a direct soaking from the sun. When I turned left, I didn't know where I was going. It's all cityfied that way. Wires and busy intersections, and in a few more minutes, filled with traffic. Normally, I turn right because that direction has parks and neighborhoods to explore. I realized I normally turn right because it is towards stillness, and going left is traffic centric and all about going somewhere. Both routes have something to teach. I had been thinking my way was the better way. When I took the road less traveled, I beheld an amazing sunrise, and the city melted away from my awareness. Periodically, the city came back into focus, and instead of seeing the chaotic infrastructure, I saw things differently and could appreciate the importance of community. Beware of habits and the sneaky ego that tells you that your way is the best. They seem like familiar choices that stabilize and give you security, yet often they simply limit the infinite experiences waiting for you, always there, but never chosen. Do you know where you're going? Oddly enough, when I was younger, I lived my life with the plan A and B. Now, as I mature, I realize I am most free when I align with the God within me and celebrate having new experiences. And here's the real good part that brings it all together. What made me want to read it. Set intentions and have goals. This is important because it focuses your energy in the direction of your dreams, like what you told that young man. What I like to add to it though is, yet don't get attached to the outcome, so you can enjoy whatever the journey is that God sends. And that brings together everything we've been talking about. Like, don't take it personally, but you get that energy, go, who am I? What is my purpose? And do that. This brings peace. Be free to explore life without holding on so tightly to past patterns. You may add a new sunrise and wonderful experience to your life.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, good, beautiful people. I love having these conversations. Thank you. Hope to see you soon and have a great weekend.
Yes, thank you both so much. Very enriching. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye. Write a book, Evan. I'm waiting. You've got one in you right now. You can do the one from these years and then one later on in life, but I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this. All right.
We need to press forward on that. Thank you.
Please do.